So we're back at it again on the roof here. So the next step is going to be to actually rip off this roof material itself. So it's just manhandling it, pulling it up. And then we'll do each individual sheet of Luan. So the first thing I have to do is get this edge out of here. But I do want to show you guys something. So Winnebago uses, only on their roof, their white roofs, they use a Manus urethane white type of sealant. And what I've noticed is that it turns into like a powder. It oxidizes really badly. I don't know if you can see that. On their painted full body paint jobs, they use a completely different type of material or sealant. I like to use it. It's clear. It doesn't seem to have this same issue. It stays very pliable. And the best thing about it is that it will actually stick to wet surfaces. So that's why I prefer using that. Because this stuff just doesn't seem to work very well. And looking at this, how do I put it? It doesn't look like it's all the way down in the track there. So maybe from the factory this was kind of an issue. But this side stayed on for, let's see, I guess 14 years, so I guess it couldn't be all bad. Anyways, let's rip this roof off. All right, so this is what the wind does. Just that simple. Bam. Okay, now you've seen it. Now you believe me. I feel like maybe I didn't explain this foam over here very well last time. So this is just a form for the radius to follow. So it just fits on the track right there, and that acts as some back, oh, you guys can't see that. And acts as a back pressure for the pylon wrapping over the edge. There's a couple different versions of this, but I find it to be pretty important to have. So it's fairly inexpensive from Winnebago. I would definitely make sure you have it. I've lost all the foam on the passenger side when the wind blew off, because nothing holds it in place. It just fits in the track right in that groove. It's not glued in at all, so it's just free floating. So don't lose these pieces. These are important. In fact, the last video you might have seen me put them inside so I don't lose them. Same thing. All right, let's keep doing this. Might as well inspect this leaking roof over here. So you can see this has definitely been damaged. On a side note, there's a big thing going around, not a big thing, but a lot of people try to do these resin relaminations of fiberglass sidewalls on RVs, injecting resin and stabilizing the Luan. That's because this Luan is made up of 3 layers. I don't like that method because, how do I put it? There's no way I can guarantee that the layers are going to lay flat on top of each other. So when they feel laminated, they might actually be laying on top of something, the next one like that. So when you go to put the resin in, it's now uneven underneath there. Or in worst case scenarios, there's no wood left, it all rotted away. So I'm not a big fan of that. Also, there's no guarantee that just the top and the middle layer separated, and then when you glue it together, it pulls the middle and bottom layer away. So that's just a side note. The only way I know to do it right is to pull the pylon off. And you can separate pylon from Luan carefully. It can be done. It's just very labor intensive. But what I do like about these Winnebago roofs is, like I said, there's no framing in them. You can see it's just really just styrofoam, Luan, Phylon, and carpet. With the exception of, like I pointed out in the last one, you have some steel bows at the front and the rear. They just go right underneath. It's just sheet metal, but it's on edge with that styrofoam. So I guess what I'm getting at is there's really not a way for this roof to rot. Yeah, I know this Luan is rotten and damaged, but structurally it's still fine because the foam itself is never going to rot. All right, so the Phylon's off the roof. Next step is to pull the Luan off. Before I do that, what I'm going to do is clean off this roof. Try to get all the dirt and everything off of it, so when I pull up the Luan, I'm not putting that dirt deposited on the styrofoam. Trying to make my life a little bit easier. So again, one panel at a time. Do the fields and do the small cut ones later. The other things I'll point out is the backup camera originally from Winnebago. This is the cable for the backup camera. So it runs the entire length of this roof radius. So I mean, technically, if you really wanted to keep it factory, you'd have to pop up the edge of that roof radius to run that cable. That'd be a horrible idea. Don't ever do that. I always feel like there's something else I want to show you. No. Well, so let's get taking that Luan off. Can you even see me? Like a blooming onion, like authentic Australian cuisine. Put another shrimp on the belly.
That's how they say it there.